Jake's the host today. Get wrecked, Night. Just kidding. How's everyone doing?
Finally,
How's everyone doing today?
host.
Doing good. Oh,
wow!
Really?
Man,
Really,
man, that
dude?
kid. Send him to the kiddies. table.
Nah, man.
About time.
Damn.
Brutal. Rough.
Brutal, guys. God.
He just drank his.
I'm just gonna sip my tea. It's not energy. It's Coca-Cola, not sponsored yet.
Yes.
Oh, not yet. I like that.
One of the
Working
biggest
on it.
brands out there. Not yet, but it's happening.
It is
I'll
happening.
get there. I'll get there.
We got
will,
Ben in the
man.
chat. What's going on, man? How's it hanging?
What's up, Ben?
Hey,
So,
Ben.
Ben.
Go Browns is what I'm gonna say. Wayne is here too. Sadly, going to be late. I can't make it at all. Oh, that's no good. If you can make it at all. My Scream 7 prediction: Sam's secret brother. Oh God. Oh jeez. Let's hope not, Wayne. Let's hope not.
It's always a family thing. You know that.
That's right.
It always goes back to the original, right?
It's
right.
a family affair.
Ooh, Russell's here too, saying, "What's up, everyone? I smashed that like button before I came in this awesome stream and chat. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday,
Yeah.
everybody. What's going on?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh yeah. What's your
So I
favorite
heard it-
scary movie? Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say I heard a fun theory. It made me smile, and I'm like, Of course, Fate's gonna hate this, but I thought it was fun. Someone had put it in one of my comments, I think a video comment over the weekend. It said, because we haven't seen Tara's dad, right?
Yeah.
And Sam's stepdad. We don't know
It's
anything
Stu.
about this person.
Oh,
Dude,
man.
that's what they said. Yeah, they're like, what if? Could you
Oh my
imagine
God.
what? That you're right. They're like,
Look at he's gonna
what if
lose
That's
his
the most
mind.
ridiculous thing I could think of, and
said,
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's actually it. It said, what if Stu was Tara's dad, and Billy was Sam's dad, of course, and then when Stu found out that was actually Billy's kid, he split and he's out of there, and I don't know. It was just a comment on a video. I'm like, I gotta
Sam's
talk
mom
about
was
that on
making
Monday.
conjugal visits.
Well, I mean, think about it, because she was in high school with Billy and Stu, so
Yeah.
he could have easily known Christina, and probably did if she was with Billy.
Yeah, but Tara would have to be around Sam's age, and she's not. Like, Anne, how would she?
Well-
she'd be pregnant with Billy and Stu's
Yeah.
kid at the same time.
Those guys were busy.
Yeah,
They were very busy. There
I'm
you
like,
go.
man, they were
They were
pimp-tastic.
Sam's mom.
Oh my
My
God.
They're
God.
doing the Eiffel Tower, high fiving and stuff.
Whoa.
I mean,
he said high fiving.
Theories,
Oh,
man.
man.
Some 3
love
minutes in,
theories.
we're already talking about the Eiffel Tower. If you
Good for Sam's
Oh
mom.
shit! All right.
Could they make like this? I mean, this is a wild theory too, but
You think?
Because Scream, well, not that. That's stupid. Scream 7. Scream 7.
God.
Very likely the whole point will be like full circle. There will be a
we don't call
tie-in,
people stupid.
blah blah blah. I didn't say they were
We're not
stupid.
bullies
I said the theory was stupid.
We're-
The theory was stupid. It's a stupid theory. They're probably brilliant. It could be, Michio Kaku for all I know.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but-
this will be the last Lethal Collective stream.
we're gonna be canceled.
Thanks for
Canceled
hanging
big
out.
time.
Hey, look,
Appreciate it.
we're gonna have a
So-
meeting later on. We're gonna be like, thanks, fate.
All over Twitter, fake calling people stupid. But anyway, would it be the worst thing I've said on the internet? But yeah, no, you go full circle, right? Full circle moment, right? You're gonna have some tie-in, you're gonna have some connection, whatever, right?
Right.
But if you think instead of bringing somebody out of the woodworks that's like Sam's long lost brother or cousin or whatever, what if they brought back who we think is still alive and Angelina and made Angelina related to Christina Carpenter?
Christina.
Yeah, so that could have that time, because originally it also makes sense because you had, again, this is kind of a stupid theory too, but if you're very likely, if they're going to have some tie-in, it's going to be something stupid like that. So if what you could do is in Scream 3, the original idea was that she knew Sydney, that they went to school together, that they were in class together, so they had the connection. well, what if? And we even threw out the idea of like, what if Angelina was, the mother, which then we found out her name was Christina Carpenter, so can't be her. I mean, unless she changed her name or something. But
Stage name. Yeah.
Yep.
stage
name.
name, or her stage name. But my point is, like, you could have a full circle moment and have like that sibling that comes out of the woodworks, but it's not like Sam directly. It's kind of like how in this Scream you had Richie's entire family that came in. Well, you could have a full circle moment where like it's the sister is that she tied into Roman, and now you have this full circle moment of the entire franchise. Again, I still think it's kind of a stretch, but I mean, that's kind of what Scream's been.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how
It's true.
far will they stretch it? So anyway, just a thought. I'd rather.
I'm all for it, man.
For Angelina?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All for it. Not the expense of Stu coming back personally, but I would, if they don't do Stu in 7, then Angelina would be a great compensation.
Could you imagine if?
But compensation plan.
Yeah, could you imagine if they did that though? I mean, like, what a deep cut and how like parallel it would be, because she's from Scream 3. This is 7.
I think there's some people
That's
who
right.
wouldn't,
And it's
some
the
people wouldn't know
third-
who that is. I feel like some people would be like,
I was
what?
just thinking that same thing. I was just thinking the same thing. I was literally going to ask to say, like, this is Scream 3 for this adaptation, so you could have that time, you could have that connection. Like, for us Scream fans, it would be great. But like I always talk about, like with the general audience, I think most people would be like, "Who?" I really do. I really do. Like Stu, it's Matthew Lillard. He's a big name. Even if you haven't, even if you're not super familiar with Stu, you know who Matthew Lillard is. So you'd at least be like, "Oh, that's Matthew Lillard." Like, you'd have that tie and you'd have that connection. I don't know. I just think, it'd have to be. You have to do something crazy like that. Do you think that they like bring back a killer from the dead and make it make sense? Because like, think of like Jill. Like, it would be tough. It'd be a stretch. But I mean, the way that especially Scream 6, the way that people were getting brutally slaughtered and just walking away like they were, like they were
paper
just
cuts.
like, like you could probably you could do like an Angelina. I think Angelina is the most reasonable because like her death was so like it was just
suspect.
Odd.
Yeah, it was.
Odd. It was like because it wasn't like it wasn't like Ghostface killed her and then just ran away. No, Ghostface like stabbed her and then just dragged her away all slow and stuff. Like it was odd. So I think that would be easy. Like Jill and Charlie, I think you can make an argument would be pretty easy, right? Because I'm trying to think. Charlie wasn't shot in the head.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah. So I mean, Charlie could have survived. You could have had Jill. Could do Angelina. I know people want Stu, but I mean, there's just a lot that went into that. I just think I mean, you couldn't do Roman. You couldn't bring Roman back.
No.
Couldn't bring Mickey back. Couldn't bring Mrs. Loomis back.
Nope.
So I mean, it would boil down to like those characters. Like, do you think they do something like that? Do you think that they bring somebody back from the dead, quote unquote?
Good.
Jake. I hope they don't. Like,
I don't think.
I don't want it, but
I don't think it would happen. Not trying to crap on theories. I just like considering the big message they had in that last movie about like the Stu stuff. I just don't. I mean, maybe with new creatives, but I just even like trying to get that past a studio. I feel like they might be like, well, I mean, they even like renamed Scream 2022. They made that just Scream instead of Scream 5 so that people would go and see it. Now you want to force a connection to either Scream 3 or Scream 1 to have that callback in your movie, to have your big reveal be like a cameo, to be fan service from something from the past. There's an extent to that. Some studios will be like, everyone knows this person. Like, absolutely, let's make it happen. Stu is the most likely thing to happen, I would say. But I just like the whole Angelina thing. I just don't ever see that happening. I would be interested in that storyline.
Would you be more interested in Angelina than Stu?
I mean, maybe because I feel like you could write that there's more to
Easier.
her character, because like she never, like, let's say she was a Ghostface, she never got a reveal. So I feel like there's more to her character that we could build upon. Where Stu,
Right.
I feel like we've said everything we need to say with Stu. Like he doesn't even want to be like involved really. He kind of got peer pressured into doing it. It's like I don't really know what more story we could do with Stu except for cameo fan service appearance. But. Real quickly though, I do, because I know Craven wants to say something real bad against that. I know, I can feel it. I can feel the energy. But I do, and I love it, man. Just real quickly, I do want to say hello to a few more people. What's your favorite scary movie? Is saying go Carolina Panthers. I don't mind the Panthers. I like them. Okay, sure, why not? Spicy Generals in the house. Love it. Happy Lethal Monday.
Hey.
What's up? Gage Tucker's a Browns fan as well. I appreciate that, Gage. Thank you. Makes the burn a little better of being a fan of the worst team in the NFL. Bobby Joe is hanging out. Yo, what's up? What's up, Anthony? How's it hanging? Yo, what's good, y'all? I would have Scream 7 be set in either Chicago or London in the winter. I'm seeing a lot of people say London. Is that like? What's up with that? Is that because of Christina Carpenter? What's up with the London thing? I'm seeing a lot of people going nuts about London. Not that I have anything against London. I think it's just it feels very random to me. But I don't know. How do you guys feel about that, real quick?
I think it's a again, if they can do it and make it very interesting and fresh, I'd be all for it. I suppose it's because of Christina. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. I'd love to see it. I really would. But I agree, man. Like, the weather change would be very interesting as well, man. I mean, and winter is obviously something that we've talked about. I'd be all for that, just to see the contrast and something different. But and I know this, and Jake, you know best because you've actually had the uniform on, the costume on, and I know this would make absolutely no sense. But even if it was something where we got like rainstorms or something, it looks dreary, kind of like how like in 7 it had that really dreary gray type of vibe. Not saying that has to be the whole movie, but I'm just saying some sequences where we're seeing something new with Ghostface. I'd be actually very curious to see how that would play.
Well, you could have a great shot of like Ghostface. You could have a great shot of like Ghostface in the rain. Like, imagine that, like the rain's coming down, he's just standing outside of a thing. Like, you can get some great like cinematic shots that way too.
That's exactly, that's what I'm thinking. I'd love to see some stuff like that, because I think in 6, look, people can say what they want, but one thing in 6 that I felt is that Ghostface, there's some of the best looking Ghostface moments, as far as cinematography and shots and lighting and just poses and moments that I've seen in the franchise, So yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
A few more people I want to say hello to. Horror B is here. Hi everyone. Happy May 1st, everybody.
That's right.
Yes.
Love
My
it.
birthday's 3 weeks away from today. 3 weeks exactly.
Oh.
Happy early birthday, in case I forget. I'm getting it in now. See,
Yeah.
May Ann is also here. Speaking of May, welcome. How's it going? Martin,
Hey,
what's up, Martin? Hello, people. Hello, all you people.
Cue the
Will you
NSYNC
listen
memes.
to me? But welcome everyone. Magenta Fox is also here. Had a thought today. What if Gale put a kid up for adoption prior to the first Scream? I reckon that would be in line with her character. She doesn't want the kid. Throw it in an orphanage somewhere.
She wants to do the career thing instead.
Gale and Dewey's kid. Dewey didn't know about it, because look at it like this. So look at it like, so you could actually make that make sense. Okay, so look, after Scream 96, right? They go their separate ways, they do whatever. Well, then in Scream 2 you see the intimacy, and then in Scream 3 they give you a little bit of the gap filler that she went with Dewey, stuck with Dewey, and tried to mend him. But like you said, days felt like years in Woodsboro, couldn't get along. You'd imagine if they're living together, they're, doing their thing. She leaves, she's pregnant, she thinks I'm done with Dewey, that's it. They're, fast forward a couple years, she's already given up the kid. They get back together in Scream 3, they get married, they have their thing in Scream 4. She keeps that as like her secret, and it comes back to haunt them in Scream 7. You can make it make sense, because that kid would have been born in probably like 2002, something like that, maybe. Or no, it would have been sooner than that. It would have been in like 90, like probably 98, 99.
99, yeah.
Yeah, 98, 99. So that kid would be 28 now. You know, this kid would basically be Sam's age.
Wow.
I just think
you know?
about Dewey. Like, I just think about Dewey as a character, and if he was a father, I just don't think he would. Like Gale would want to give up the kid. I don't think Dewey would. Like, I don't think Dewey would.
Yeah, but if he
ever-
didn't know about it, because that's what I'm saying.
Oh, if he didn't know,
She
okay, well
left-
that's a little.
She
different,
left
yeah.
him, so they were together. She was with him while he was recovering, and then she just left him. Right? I mean, that's what she relays that at the little lunch or whatever that they had, where she said, you know, days felt like years in Woodsboro. I had to get out of there. It was 60 minutes too. And he's like, what was wrong with Gale Weathers? Right? So she could have been pregnant, had the opportunity for 60 minutes too, said like, I don't want I can't have a baby by myself while I'm going to go do 60 minutes too. She gives up the kid for adoption. Kid lives its life in the adoption thing. She goes on her life. Dewey and her come back together at the end of Scream 3. You know, he proposes. They get married. They write it out in Scream 4. They end up breaking up by the time we get into Scream 5. And she just kept it a secret. And the kid would be old enough now to where, like, you could have that come full circle.
Wow. Wowie, wowie, wow, wow,
Alright.
wow.
That
Now
would
would
be
this
an interesting way to tie in Dewey. Like, would Dewey have died if he had a kid and he knew about a kid? Because would he have even wanted to have gotten involved? Like, I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff, right? Because, I mean, if he had a kid, you know, maybe he doesn't leave New York. Maybe he sticks it out and rides with them for the kid. Maybe even if he does leave and he's in his sorrows, maybe he's like, you know, I still have a kid. I'm taking care of the kid. Like, you know, I can't get involved. Like, that could be some interesting ties. And that could even be the revenge motive. Like, you know, like, because of you, my father died. You know, he never knew, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I
think
think
you can make it make sense.
I'd love to see the kid interact with Dewey, though. I think that's my thing that
I
I'd
was
be
about to
sad
say that too.
about
Yeah.
not seeing that. You know,
No.
But I think that's what would draw up the emotion.
that would be the
Right.
motive, though. You know, that
Oh,
would
yeah.
be
Yeah,
like if they were the killer. Yeah.
Yeah, and if the, you know, son or daughter was the killer, I think it'd be hard to, like, because then you'd have that Dewey have to, like, take out their son or daughter. Although that would have been a cool way to have Dewey die. Imagine if, you know, like, kind of like the son kills the father type
Oh,
thing.
man.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Wow.
That would have been, talk about the feels.
We're
but-
going dark. We're going into
Skywalker.
yeah.
And like
Skywalker.
Magenta Fox said, I can't see Dewey's kid as a killer though. But that's the thing. Like, Dewey wouldn't have been around to raise him. Who knows
No.
what happened to him? And Gale is cutthroat enough to kill somebody. Gale is, especially 96. You know, 90. You know, the Scream 1 and 2 Gale was more than cutthroat to do it. I mean, even Randy was talking about, you know, like Gale, he could see Gale killing people. Dewey's like, nah, Gale is a killer at Scream 2. And he's like, yeah, she's cutthroat enough. You know, she's a reporter. They stage the news. Like, you could do that. And he wouldn't have had the influence of Dewey Riley. Like, maybe he looks at Dewey as a hero and he died a hero. And he's like, you know, it's because of all you people. My real father died. Like, but I mean, you could make that make sense a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
Bearded, thank you.
Eric's throwing $5 in there.
Hey.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
We all
Eric.
appreciate that.
Thanks,
here at the
Eric.
Lethal Collective. Love it.
Absolutely.
Asking us, who do you think the secret unrevealed killer in 6 was?
Yeah.
Does
If
anyone?
there really was, but
What was there yet another killer in this
Mm-hmm.
movie? Who wants to take that first?
Well,
Josh Segura, Danny.
I was thinking Danny too, man.
very
Look,
possible.
He makes the most if there even is.
Right.
And look, I gave a whole theory about this idea that I think could make sense. You know, he summarized basically he was involved the whole time. He could have been involved with Greg and Jason because they had to like somehow Dermot Mulroney and them knew. How did they find out that Jason and Greg were going to kill Sam? And like, how did he know that they were going to be the killers so he could frame them? He had to have gotten that information from somewhere. Maybe Josh Segura's character was involved and he ended up getting caught up or something like that. You know, maybe you could have some connection. It makes sense that he got close to Sam. That could have been the whole thing. And then maybe he just fell for Sam. Jason and Greg died. He's like, oh, good, I'm off the hook. Like,
Well,
I don't have
Kirby said she was already onto them, so he might have been able to intercept that information before they met.
maybe. I mean, it's possible.
That's kind of what I like when I saw it. That's kind of, I don't know. That's what was going
Yeah,
on
but
in my
also
head.
you got to
but-
remember he was framing them. Like,
But he was
'cause
also
remember
framing
he's-
Kirby too, so I think he
yeah.
anticipated that she would be involved somehow.
So yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so very likely he got that information before probably Kirby even did, because Kirby got the information because of like the shrine, like all this, like all the everything was pointing to him. Was
Oh no,
pointing to Greg.
well no, she got the information based off of what they were like their online messages is the line. Like she's like I've been looking at their online messages or whatever on like I can't remember if she drops the Reddit thread, but I feel like that's what it was. Like I just can't remember the line off the top of my head, but
I think that's what it was.
Maybe,
but maybe.
yeah, maybe.
But I wonder, like, you got to wonder though about now. See, now I'm so there's. I love talking about these movies. I could pick them apart all day. It's so interesting. But Craven, you it seemed like you had a thought about this. Is there an unrevealed killer in 6 that you might?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did a video on it yesterday and talked to Eric. Eric, the Bearded Entertainment. We were chatting a couple days ago about this, and so I'm like, man, I ran with it yesterday, and so shout out to you, Eric, again, my friend. You're awesome. The clues, like, and just to kind of give you a nutshell of what the video shows. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but basically the timeline, the clues that they give us point us to it, because whenever Sam and Tara leave to go to the bodega, right, or to go to the station, before that they're in the apartment with everyone, the twins, Quinn, Annika, Quinn, Ethan, right, they're all together. So then Bailey calls, or Quinn calls Detective Bailey, gets the phone call to talk to you about the police. She says, and then remember, Sam gets a phone call. They all look at the table. She gets the phone. It's Gale Weathers. She declines the call. Right after she hits decline call, it says October 29th, 9:57 p.m. on her phone. It's the only time, by the way, in the movie that it has the time on the phone display. Very interesting. So right after that, she talks, and then Quinn says, "Here's my dad." He says, "You need to come down to the station." He was at the crime scene picking up her driver's license. So then the next thing you see is Tara and Sam leaving the front door of the apartment building, walking down, and then they get a block away and they get the phone call. She gets a phone call from Richie. Ghostface pops up, attacks Tara. They run in the bodega. Well, if there's a later scene when they look at the big crime board, it's got all the ones, the scene with all the pictures, the attacks, and there's a Post-it note for each attack. And it says the time of the bodega attack is the 29th, same day as the phone, of course, at 10:03 p.m., which means by the time she hangs up the phone with Detective Bailey, it's going to be 9:58, 9:59. We'll give 1 to 2 minutes. That means that he had time. He would have had to change his shoes. First of all, Bailey would have had to have left the crime scene in a hurry, changed out of his leather dress type shoes into the boots, put on the costume, and get into position in the bushes before Tara and Sam get there. That means he's got 2 minutes, no more than 3 minutes if he's running at full speed to get. That is not even plausible. It's almost like teleportation fate. It's almost a Roman Bridger. Not Roman Bridger was more to the point, Wes was telling us, but still, you guys, you're talking about 2 to 3 minutes to do all of that. It does not make logical sense.
Yeah, but so how much of that is just like in air? So like, there's a lot of them in this movie.
I'm giving that benefit of the doubt.
It just don't add up. So for example, even like when Sam and Tara, they go into the police station. So they go after the bodega thing, and then you fast forward to the police station. Okay, so according to the time, right? So let's say the bodega happened at 10:03, right, and all that. Let's say they get to the station by let's say 11 p.m. By the time they leave the station, it's like the middle of the afternoon, right? And they already had their whole conversation with Sam and Tara, and had that, and then they had their interaction with Kirby. So what were they doing? They were just hanging out for 24 hours in the police station. Like there's a lot of those throughout the film, though. A lot of things that you see one thing and then it's like it completely, you're like, is this the next day or is this the same time? And it's supposed to be like hours later. So I wonder how much of that is just just bad, not paying attention.
Mhm.
and how much was actually
Yeah.
supposed to be part of the story.
Right.
Because I do agree with you 100%. Because I just rewatched Scream 6 like, I don't know, like 3 days ago, something like that now. And Ethan and Quinn are up in the apartment
Yeah,
with the whole thing.
that's
right?
right.
When
That's right.
Sam comes out.
Mhm.
Not saying that one of them couldn't have went down, put on the clothes and stuff, but
They had to
it
get in
kind
place
of makes it.
already.
Well, it makes it seem like it's Detective Bailey that's the one that
Right.
comes that is the killer, because he was the one that was wearing the cracked ghost face mask the whole time, and the way he moves in the bodega makes more sense
Yeah.
for him than like Ethan,
Exactly.
or Quinn, right?
Yeah.
So the whole scene makes it seem like it's Detective Bailey, but Detective Bailey is at the crime scene
Yeah.
with
Right.
the license and stuff. Granted, how close is it? Like, how far and how close is it? Like, if it's around the block, then maybe he could have had time. But even then, it's like still has to go change. He still has to go run over
Yeah.
there, like, you
Right.
know. And it's New
And get in
York. Like, even
place.
if it was
Exactly.
2 blocks, even if it was 2 blocks away, it's not like you can just like, you know, unless he has like a little moped or something, just dressed up as Ghostface.
Ghostface cart.
I mean, for real. Like, I mean, you're talking traffic. I mean, 2 blocks is like 2 hours in New York. So it's just, there's a lot of things like that throughout the movie that just don't make any sense if you actually like actually look into it. Which
To the
was
Ghost
something that-
Mobile.
And the
Right.
ghost
The
mobile.
Ghostmobile.
Exactly. Well, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm gonna, and it could be, it's probably blind choice to do this, but you know, if it was West, like I say, we would all be like, oh yeah, the clue's there it is,
Right.
you know, but
Yeah, because everything was deliberate with him.
all deliberate
Yeah.
with West, but
Mhm.
you know, with this situation, you could very well be right. I'm giving them benefit of the doubt and saying they were actually, James and Guy were actually writing in these clues for those who would
Yeah,
catch it and watch it
It makes
closely
Josh
enough.
Segura. It makes sense for Josh
Mhm.
Segura. Now, so
Yo, he's
like,
right there.
He is right there.
Let's look at the same scenario, right? Same scenario happens. If Josh Segura was involved, he's literally right there.
Mhm.
So he could have gotten
Yep.
the phone call from Bailey and
Mhm.
knew, like, hey, you're gonna stand by and wait. You know, Dermot could have easily called him before and said,
Mhm.
hey,
That's right.
I'm gonna
Get in
have them
place.
come to the station, be ready, be in position, and he could have already been changed, already been ready, and he fits the type of ghost face we saw more than like an Ethan or something like that, with just his ability to like move and maneuver and the
Yeah.
tactics. That's why I think, I mean, if there is going to be like he was involved the whole time, it would be Josh Segura's character.
Mhm.
I think, and a point that I've seen people mention is how did he know about Mindy? Because you know, he says when he comes in, he says, I just got off the phone with Mindy and Gale, and they're gonna make it or whatever. And a lot of people I've seen a lot of people mention, like, you know, I understand that he knows about Gale. How did he know that Mindy ended up getting cut up and stabbed when Ethan went and, you know, did the thing? Like, did Ethan and them cross paths? Like, you know, it just. But again, that kind of goes into another inconsistency,
Right.
Like, you know, but
Can you imagine that conversation?
what
Ethan's
are
like,
you doing,
dude, I
buddy?"
gotta go, man. I'm so busy, you know?
Right.
And he keeps hassling him. Like, that would actually be hilarious.
And
Like,
can I just say one other thing here, and not to start a tangent, I'm really not. It's more of just like a little tagline at the very end. So, you know, in that bodega scene, if it was someone from the past, if it was someone that's been involved through this whole time, even in 5, you know, I know someone who probably had an extra cracked mask that would look pretty darn aged and old because it was the same time Billy's mask, and that'd be Stu Macher. That's all I'm going to say. Stu Macher, I guarantee you, if he held on to one of his masks, it's going to look just like Billy's. So that's all. Let's throw that in there. It's food for thought. Food for
you
There
thought.
you
never
go.
know. Anything
You
can
never
happen.
know.
as they
Anything can
say.
happen, Jake.
That's
Speaking of anything happening, did you guys see the new photos released from Maxine
Yes.
today?
Yes.
I have not
seen
yet.
that, dude.
Yeah, baby.
Oh,
Jake
there
is
she
ready.
is.
What?
Yeah.
Our
Wow.
horror queen.
Yes,
I'm
she
I'm
is.
such a simp. I gotta shut the hell
Bro.
Yeah,
up.
be careful.
Yeah.
Knight's like, be careful, bro. Jeez. No,
Did you
Shia
did you-
LaBeouf will find
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh god.
Yeah, he'll kick my ass, dude. if
Do
I say-
it!
Yeah, just do it.
you get
Yeah.
beat
So
up by Even Stevens.
even the guy from Holes is beating the shit out of me right now.
Jake's getting pummeled by. It's just like,
Oh my
Wow.
god. But dude, I'm so hyped for this. This isn't the full picture. This is the only one I could find, just like because I saw this super chat and I'm like, I gotta get
Yeah.
it. But Halsey is standing next to her in the full picture, which I'm
Yeah.
like, you gotta get a
I've
taste
seen
of
that
like
one.
what the whole thing's gonna look like. I'm hyped, man. It looks fucking killer. I can't wait to see this thing.
Man, can you? I'm just saying, and we talked about this, when X came up, especially when Pearl. It's like, it's just an amazing way that this trilogy has just become what it is, and
Yeah.
and just these fantastic performances by Mia. And I honestly believe years from now we'll look back on this and just be like, wow, man, that was an awesome way to get a really cool horror trilogy with this actress that played more than one role, and it all worked organically. You know what I'm saying? It was just
Yes.
this was like a super Christmas gift, these three movies. It really was for horror fans,
Dude,
Wow.
oh my, yeah, and it's nuts, man. I mean, like, I don't know. I just watched Pearl the other day, so it's very fresh on my brain. And like, I didn't
Yeah.
rewatch it like after I saw it in the theaters. I loved it, but I was like, I think I still like X more. But man, watching Pearl again, that's a masterpiece. I mean, that
It
is like
really
a
is.
10 out of 10. It's incredible. It's so crazy, man. It's nuts. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just-
it is.
It's very elegant. It has a lot of I would label X more like rock and roll, and I would say that Pearl is much more like classical. You know what I mean? Like just
yeah.
Yep.
the way that Mia was able to have the weight of the movie on her shoulders and obviously killed it literally. It was just so cool, man. And it's cool that their tones are so different, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with Maxine. Can't wait.
80s Hollywood slasher, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
baby.
God.
Hey, yeah.
I'm so hyped.
should
I'm
be
so
a good ride.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait. Lighting Ghost, thank you for the $5. I hope you enjoy Maxine whenever the hell that bad boy comes out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. Neil Williams is also here
He's on a
saying
razor scooter.
Ghostface
doing
gets
tricks
away
and
on a
stuff.
little razor scooter going as fast as he
Doing a
can.
little kick spin and stuff. Yeah.
Hits his ankle. Oh, God.
Oh no.
Like that's worse. than
What's
the
your
stabbing.
favorite scooter?
Like, how did we defeat Ghostface? We did it. He just got hit in the ankle by the scooter. Like, that's it.
Turn around, he's gone, you know?
Right.
He's like in the bathroom. Oh, God. That's so funny.
It's like the cue the Family Guy. Peter.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Neil, thank you so much for the $5. That's
Thank
great.
you, Neil.
Thank you,
You're
Neil.
awesome. Love you. Kisses.
Kisses, all the kisses.
And kisses. Wow.
Eric's throwing $5 in there
boy.
again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir.
Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Saying they
Yes.
all wore the cracked mask, Bailey mostly, but Ethan wore it in the latter scene, and Quinn wore it at Gale's. So we all had some passing of the cracked mask.
The passing of the torch. The passing of the
The passing of the crack, as one would
crack
say.
man.
Oh. Wow.
It's a real party now.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Thank you for clearing that up, Eric.
And so did Josh Segura in the bodega scene.
When he got away on his razor scooter, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Angelina
right now,
Ward at some point.
Maybe that's why he had the ladder, right? Maybe that
Oh
was the
my
whole plan. Maybe that's why, because it is strange that he just randomly had a ladder in his apartment. Like, so maybe
It's
that's
true.
why. Maybe he was planning to go up there and or maybe that was Ethan's escape plan or something. You know, he was gonna transfer the ladder and Ethan got too gun ho or something. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could spin that, but
Right.
telling you, he just he's a little sus.
He
And
is
his name
sus,
is Danny.
man.
And his
Yeah,
name is
right.
Danny.
That's
Huh?
right. He is
Sussy
sus,
little
man.
fella. Anything can happen, man.
I'll give him credit though, man. He played so many of the scenes like where he was in that gray area, especially when he was telling Sam, he's like, okay, well don't trust anyone. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you sound more like Ghostface than freaking Dermot. I mean, come on, man. He was sus at a lot of scenes.
He was.
He was way too understanding. You know what I
He
mean?
was.
Like, there's
Yeah.
a moment
Yes.
in that movie where he should have been like running, bro, and
Yes.
he's hanging out the whole time. I don't know.
And especially you make him go with you the entire way, and then you get to that you get to the stage moment, you let him in on the plan and everything, and then you get there, and now all of a sudden, now you
say get away.
suspect of him after he already knows your entire plan and what your idea is. Like it just didn't make sense. And then he's just like, all right, I understand, I get it. And I was like, what do you mean? I would have been like, what are you talking about?
I know, he didn't have any It was crazy.
I'd be like, this is why all your friends keep dying, because you won't let guns here.
Oh my god.
Man.
Eric, again, thank you so much for the $5. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Eric.
Why not? Ben's throwing a little fake quote in there.
What are you
too, which
doing?
is nice. That was like the fastest one you've ever done.
Dude, that should be the new thing, man. How fast you can say it. Like that, you should try that a couple times. You know.
What are you doing?
Dude, I actually like that.
What are you doing? That's what I say about the Cleveland Browns all the time, Ben. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm sorry. God, they're terrible. I hate them. Okay, anyways, thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. Back to the Scream talking, though. So talking a little more about Stu Craven, because I feel like it's been a minute since you spoke, and I know how much you love Stu. I mean, look at it; it's right there in your
Stu Nation.
Stu Nation. If we get new creatives for this new movie, do you think the chances of him coming back are higher?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. I don't know the answer because the thing is, it's going to depend on them, obviously, and if they're going to try to honor. Well, first of all, I have my theories, and I think they're going to bring him back, this current group. I hope it's in 7. I hope that, because they've laid a lot of groundwork in my book, little breadcrumbs, nothing like going to beat you over the head, but there's things you can allude to. And so my thought is, if they're not going to bring, if they're going to keep Guy and James, the writers, then I think we're good, right? I think we're good. But if they bring well, you know what? I wish I could get a draft of that Scream 7 script, because then I could tell you for sure how I think about it. I'll just say it like this. I don't think radio silence involvement will have a factor on it. I don't think. I really don't. I think it's all going to come down to James and Guy. If we lose one of them or both of them, if their plan was to do it, if we keep one of them there, then hopefully it'll continue. Mm-hmm. But if we lose both of them, then I don't know. I mean, it's going to depend on the new regime going to honor the old regime's wishes? Right? I mean, I don't know. But I would say that I can't, but I'm kind of neutral. Like, I'm literally like 50-50, because it depends. You may bring in a new team that's like, their whole thing is we got to get Stu in the movie. That could be their plan. So I could, if they would announce new writers, then maybe I could tell you better what my thought is, because I could look at their history if they have one, and like see, is there anything we could look from their other films that they've written that could show us they have a penchant for bringing back other past characters, that kind of stuff. So I believe that it's gonna. I do believe it's still gonna happen though, and I think 7's the movie to do it. If they don't do it in 7, then I think we'll get a new writing team in 8. I really do. I highly doubt they'll have Guy and James do a 4th film. I mean, it could, but I suspect it'll probably move on to new people, and then who knows? We'll see. But the Stu train never stops being fueled and stocked. I mean, it's ready to go. So it's in perpetual. It's ready to roll.
You got fresh loaves of bread that come in at 5 a.m. every morning.
That's right, man. Keeping it fresh.
Working hard over on the train.
A couple things though too is that one, like, also, what is the studio want? Like, how much because that's something else you got to keep in mind too. Like, you could have, whether it's these writers, because these writers are supposed to be already deep in it, based on like the little inside words. Words that we've gotten, that they're already halfway through the script. So if that's the case, then it's going to be whatever it is. But also another thing you got to keep in mind is, like, even if the writers are like, let's say Guy and Vanderbilt do want to do the Stu route. If the studio says we're not doing that, then that's something else too. Or if the studio says, hey, like, we need to make money, we need to do this, and this is a way to do it. I need you guys to find a way to write that in, because you gotta remember, studio still has a lot to say. Very rarely does, because studio is the one that approves or denies the script. You know, they're the ones that say we need you to change this, we need you to change that.
Well,
so they
to
could
your
want
point,
it.
Just real quickly to your point, like Matthew Lillard is coming back to horror. You know, Five Nights at Freddy's, this could be a hit. Like this could be a hit, like theoretically. That's why the whole Stu thing, you know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, it's just dumb. It wouldn't make sense. It's a conversation though. No matter how you feel about it, it's absolutely a conversation, and it's absolutely viable because it would bring people to theaters, even if it was completely ridiculous and made no sense. People would show up for Matthew Lillard because he's Matthew fucking Lillard. He has an aura about him. You get sucked into his presence when he's on screen. It's amazing. I get it. So it's definitely something the studio. I don't think the studios would be like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. No, it'll bring them in so much money. Of course, it's something that's on the table for sure. And like I said, with him coming back for FNAF here in October, it's even more of a talking point at this point than ever before. So who knows? Who knows what will happen for the future?
But here's the thing: is I genuinely wonder how much Matthew Lillard returning as Stu would impact the box office, because yes, there is a lot of people that want Stu to return, but it's a percentage of Scream fans, and that's a percentage of the overall general audience. You know what I mean? Like, well, as much as like diehard, you know, Stu stands want him to come back. What is the consensus amongst general, like, because you could do something like that and the movie does terrible because all the people that don't want him to come back go, that's stupid, I don't even want to waste my time with that. And then the general audience goes, didn't he die in 96 now? And you've seen a lot of franchises die because they do something like that, and general audiences go, that's stupid, I don't want
it. Worked for Kirby.
But Kirby wasn't dead, though.
This big iconic.
I mean, and a lot of people thought she was, including Kevin Williamson.
Wes Craven didn't think she was dead.
Nope.
That's right.
He knew what was going on.
But what I'm saying is that Kirby's was always on the fence. Like, that was deliberately done. And two, she wasn't this, polarizing figure in the Scream franchise that Stu is. Most people were just like, eh. It was like indifferent. Like, no, like most people didn't really care. Like, it wasn't a big deal. Stu, that's a big thing. And so that's something else you got to get back. Like, that could actually be, the studio could look at that and go, like, that could be the end of this franchise, not a new beginning.
I don't see that, man.
A lot of franchises have done that, and it doesn't work out. You know, even series. What do they say when you bring back a dead character? That's the death of your series. It happens. I mean, it's almost every time a franchise has killed somebody and brought them back. That's it. It's never the same. So, I mean, again, I don't know what the answer. We wouldn't know the answer unless that happened. But, you know, we're like, even people are even just like, again, it's a minority in a minority of the overall fan, or just people in general. So you're talking like, let's say that's 1% of the entire viewership of the.
Okay, I agree with you, Fade. I do. I agree that I think if they bring him back, that's the last nail in the coffin. Like, we won't get another Scream film after that. The reception is going to be really negative to it, but I think the box office will be higher than what you expect, because people, like, even if it is a shit show, like, even if it is like completely ridiculous, it's so off the rails at this point, it doesn't even make sense. People are going to see it for Matthew Lillard, and they're going to be like, well, let's see what it's all about. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hype. They're going to tease it, just like No Way. It's going to be the same thing as No Way Home, where it's like,
I don't know
opening night.
I don't know.
They would. No, they totally would.
No. Look, here's the thing, though, is that if that ends up happening, you're not going to know about it until you go see the movie. So I think the movie would very likely be successful either way. It's what the end result is, right? Because what's going to happen is that's going to be the big, like, oh my God moment at the end of the movie, very likely towards the end of the movie. So they're not, like, if they're going to do that, they're going to keep that under wraps because they want that to be a secret. They want that to be a big reveal, like the Billy thing, right? But here's the thing, people are going to go see the movie, and then what's the afterwards backlash, which I think will be the problem.
My thoughts on that, though, like, but just real quickly, because like I see what you're saying. I like that's been the approach for the last two movies, right? It's like there's been some kind of reveal we didn't even guess, but like, with Stu, if they're going to bring him back, it's going to be out of desperation. Some
And
people are going
that's
to.
my
Everyone
point.
is going to disagree with that. But I guarantee you
is.
that if they
Out of
bring him back, it's out of desperation because they don't have a story. They don't have something to write. So they're like, well, if we bring back this beloved character, people will at least see it. And listen, I can't fathom a story in my mind that would work to the point where it wouldn't be convoluted. So that would be the point. That would be the end. Like that would be it, you know. But like, okay, we'll try this just because it might work. They would tease that. Like they would tease the fuck out of that. There would be a leak. There would be something. I guarantee it because like you were saying, that's the end of the line. You know what I mean? And they realize that it's an act of desperation. They don't care about the mystery anymore. They just are banking on people coming to the theater to see Matthew Lillard play his iconic role again.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you know, but I agree with you entirely. Like I don't think I don't think it would work. It would be very gimmicky. I think the reception would be very low, personally. But let's move on. If we start talking about Stu, it's going to take up the rest of the stream. Let's be honest. Let's
I mean,
it'll be a
real.
it'll be a rabbit hole.
It'll be a rabbit hole, man.
I want to, real quick. I want to hear Knight's thoughts because I mean, Craven gave
Oh,
me
you're
I gave
right,
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah,
You're
I wanna
right.
hear- I
I'm
wanna hear
sorry,
Knight's-
man.
Come on, Knight. Do
Listen.
the right thing, dude.
It's peer pressure. No. I think that if they were to bring him back, I think it'd be so much hype for it, and I really do think that overall it would be a positive thing. I mean, I'm telling you guys, when I got a chance to meet him, I kid you not, at that convention, Jake, you know, because you were at Monster Mania, it was like he was like it was like he was like Moses, you know, let my people go. You know, it's like everybody was just drawn to him, and he was so cool too. By the way, he truly is as cool as he seems.
Yes.
Like the room was packed to do autographs with him, and he got on the mic, and none of the other stars did that. He got on the mic and was talking to the audience, telling people with little kids to come forward. Like, no, you come forward now. Like he just he was like a rock star. So my gut feeling, and of course I could be wrong, but my gut feeling is if they bring him back, I think it'll be more positive than any negative. Yeah, it could be, like you said, Jake, it could be a shit show, and this thing could go off the rails because it is a tricky thing to do. And there's a lot of people, big fans of the franchise, that either don't want to see it, or they just don't see how it could make any sense, or they just want to have some fresh blood. And I get that. I truly do. But I gotta admit, man, be honest. If he comes back, guys, just be honest. How cool would that be? Just the anticipation alone.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and the curiosity, you know.
Can I be real with you? Like I would. So once again, it's a No Way Home scenario. No matter how you look at it, it is the same thing. I loved that movie on opening night. I fucking lost my mind. I am the biggest Sam Raimi Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man 3. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like I'm that guy. Like I love those three movies. They're my heart and soul. Seeing Tobey Maguire back up there was fucking awesome. But
yeah,
in all honesty, it ruined the MCU. And I kind of wish it didn't happen. And that's crazy. Like when I saw that, I'm like, this is better than Endgame. Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen. But with time, I realized it kind of ruined the MCU because now it's just all about the big cameo. It's all about who's going to be in this. None of the movies are good. They don't care about story anymore. You sweeten the pot too much like that. You rely on something big to make it a big event instead of caring about the story. It turns into something else. It's no longer the thing it was. It turns into just an event. It's not like No Way Home is not a movie I would watch ever again. I think it's fine. It has numerous plot holes. It's just about the fact that they brought all the Spider-Man together.
That's right.
For one big movie. And it was like one of the best theater experiences I've ever had, but I have absolutely zero interest in ever watching that movie again because when you just take 2 seconds to look at the plot and all that, it's so crazy. Like it's like ridiculous that was the plot of a movie.
Here's something
and
else
I feel like it would
Knight,
be the same thing personally.
Here's something else that Knight said that I think is what the problem is and what gets lost in translation. Like Knight, you were talking about how great Matthew Lillard is. There's no doubt Matthew Lillard is polarizing. He's fantastic. Like you hear nothing but great things about him. Like we all love Matthew Lillard. That is fine. It doesn't mean he should return to the Scream franchise. Like he's getting back into horror. That is great. and I hope he has. I mean, let's make a new movie with him as the killer. Let's make a new like slasher film with him as the bad. I would love that. But I think a lot of people get lost in their love for Matthew Lillard and how he's just such this like this polarizing guy, and we love him and we're gravitated to him, and go, oh, I want to see him back in a Scream movie. But that's not necessarily what's best for the franchise. And that's what I think the problem is. And that's why I think general audiences will be like, I love Matthew Lillard, but he died in Scream 6. Why is he back? I thought this was a realistic slasher film. And now what? So who else is? I think you ruin the reputation and you ruin the history of Scream by doing something like that to generalize people. The people that love Matthew Lillard, we all would love to see Matthew Lillard again. Like, I'm not going to be mad about Matthew Lillard. Like, same thing I said with Billy. I didn't think it was great. I thought it kind of sucked, but it was good to see Skeet Ulrich back in the Scream franchise, right? Like, I'm not going to complain about seeing him back in the franchise, but that's kind of what it is. It's like the diehard Stu people are going to love it, and they're all going to be on all the threads and all the forums, hyping it up, talking about, I told you.
First week, it's going to be hot. It is. No, it would be. It would be, but it'll fade. It'll fade just like No Way Home. And
exactly. And that's the problem. And then you lose all credibility going forward. That's the problem.
You can't do another one. Like, you can't do another Scream after that happens.
You're gonna have to start completely from scratch with the whole new. It's just you basically ruin this adaptation by doing something like that, because now it becomes gimmicky rather than like, here's the story. And
I don't want, like, Scream is such a good concept. It's a fucking killer concept for a franchise, and I just wouldn't want it to resort to the event film. You know what I mean? It's so much more than that. Like, it is a killer story. It's got great stories across the board in all 6 films, I think. I love Stu. I think he's my favorite Ghostface killer of all time. No, I don't think anyone will ever top him. But his return to the franchise would kill it. And I think it would be a really fun event. It would be fucking awesome. First time you saw it, I probably would even give it a good review for after my first watch. But I just think it would fade. I think it would be the same. We've already seen it happen in practice with No Way Home, and now there's a lot of people who hate that film, you know. And I think there's a good reason for it, and it's,
I agree.
It's a shame.
Well, and just the majority believe that he's dead. I mean, seriously. Like,
but there are a lot of people like I know a lot of people would lose their minds over it, though. Oh, you know what I mean? It's both. There's
the majority.
It's not just a one-sided thing. I don't want to say.
But that's the problem. Like, success relies on the majority, right? Like, niche stuff doesn't blow. Like, if you want to have true success to the level of Scream, you have to keep the majority in mind. As much as people don't want them to, that's the reality. The reality is that this is about making and capitalizing on as much money as possible. So what does the general thought, what is the general consensus? There are theories, there are conspiracies, there are people that love a certain idea, but that's not the majority. The majority, not 90% of the people that go and watch Scream 7, if they saw Stu, their reaction would be, I thought he died. Because not everybody is in the sort of inner circle of that. What were you gonna say, Jake?
I was just gonna say we got a few more things to get to. So Craven, I'll let you get the last word, because we've been shitting on it this whole time.
Going around. Yep.
Give us your spiel, and then we got to get to some more super chats from you wonderful people out there.
Yeah, I mean, I won't beleaguer the point. You guys know my position on Stu. I think it would be amazing. I think it would be one of those moments that those who don't know Stu, maybe some of the newer folks, they will fall in love with him when they see him in 7, and maybe that will even make them go back and want to watch Scream 1 if they haven't. You know, there's a lot of new people watching these movies that haven't seen them. You know, the old Screams. I've met people where I'm at here that's the case. So I know that that's a thing. So, but you know, look, man. I just disagree. I hear your points, but I also think that it would be nothing but great for one last dance at the prom with Stu, and then it's over. And then, you know, you move on. In fact, if you really wanted to do, and I'm not saying I want this, but following your train of thought, you guys are talking about how, you know, you just kind of keep moving forward, then bring Sydney back in 7, bring Stu back, make it that one last hurrah for the legacies, and then Scream 8 guess what? It's a new generation. It's like a whole new generation, and we're there's no more bringing anybody back. There's the past is at rest. Even though Randy says the past is not at rest in the trilogy, but after the trilogy's over, then it is. So you could do that. I'm not saying I want you guys know I love Sydney. I want her back in every movie, but
Right.
I think this is the time, man. Let's go. Let's do it. And if it's done well, you guys, I've always said that it will be so much. It'd just be awesomeness spilling over. And
Craven,
anyway, that's it.
I want to ask you, and then I'll let you go. 'Cause I
no.
really do want to hear your thoughts. No, I'm not going to rebuttal anything. I want to ask you, like, two things. One, you don't have concerns about the majority, because you have to admit the amount of people that want Stu to return is a minority. Like,
but Fate, I'm going to say this as well. I hear you, and I agree that the majority thing, but I guarantee you that the majority were not all hinging on Kirby coming back.
I was just about to say that.
I guarantee you, if I was to ask the people in this place, and I talk about this stuff all the time with the staff, different shifts, and if I was to bring that up, that same argument about Kirby, it would have a lot of them are clueless who Kirby is. They have
but
no
there's
idea.
a lot of differences. A lot of differences. I mean, character-wise, polarizing-wise, story-wise, just being involved-wise. Like, Kirby was not involved, even in Scream 4, not as involved as Stu was in '96. Most people don't even know who Kirby is. If Stu returned, even casual fans would know who Kirby or would know who Stu is. You can't make that comparison. You're comparing a Scream icon, legacy character, somebody that built the franchise, to just another character.
But don't you think that would actually be an advantage, because so many people do know Stu and do know Matthew Lillard, at least for the curiosity for them to say, well,
everybody
I gotta
knows
check
he's
this out.
dead.
But
knows he's dead.
Well, no, but don't, because I know I'd be like, well, how are they going to do this? Just like with Kirby, I wanted to see what they were going to say about it, and they touched upon
Scream
it.
fan.
But I'm saying even if I wasn't,
because most people are going to look at it and go, well, he died in '96, so what was the point of his character in '96?
I think there's entirely a group of people out there who would be like, wow, Shaggy's in Scream? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my point. Like, I don't think,
but
I guess it matters that much in that way. I think that
look how many times Michael Myers has died. And they're like, oh, okay.
Gentlemen,
are they brothers? Are they sisters?
Gentlemen, let's
just real quick to interrupt the conversation. Let's get to Lighting Ghost super chat here, and then we have one from Jonathan as well, who's going to bring us back to Stu. So real quickly, let's take a break from this conversation to talk about Mr. Kevin Williamson. Do you think that he could return for 7 and write it, or would we even want this in the first place? Knight, let's start with you, man.
Yeah, I want it. That would be fantastic. Do I think it's going to happen? I think it's probably not going to happen, but anything's possible. But of course, if there's an opportunity to have Kevin, return for 7, I'd be all for it. And I'll be quite honest, and I love this group that we have right now. But if he came back for 7, whether it's a continuation of Sam's, story, or if it was something brand new, I'd be, if Kevin was with it, I'd be for it either way. But I don't know, man. I don't think he's gonna come back.
Yeah. I guess we'll go around the table. Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's funny. I put a poll up this morning at 9 a.m. and it's saying, should Kevin Williamson return to write or co-write Scream 7? It's over 1,800 votes, or almost 2,000 if we round up. And 92% say yes in the fandom, which I think is a pretty good snapshot of the fandom majority, I suspect. Because I would love it as well. And I do say this, and it's going to sound like it's nothing personal. We talked about some of the holes earlier in 6. And I love the movie, but we talked about it, and there's a lot of them. I know if Kevin's hand was in it from the writing perspective, those would be way down. It would be incredibly different story just in those details, like those little details that like we're talking about earlier. So I think it would just be nothing but good for the franchise to come back and at least have a hand on the writing. Now, if he's not a sole writer again, but I don't think it's going to happen. I agree with Knight. I think everyone's in their own lanes now with this creative team. So I'd like it though.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if you can have Kevin Williamson back, you have Kevin Williamson back, right? I mean, he's the godfather of Scream.
Yep.
So, I don't think it'll happen. You know, maybe he consults on a couple things like he has, but actually writing it, I think he's doing other projects, he's doing other things. I think it's just, it's time to move on. Maybe at some point he returns once he's done with everything. Maybe for like a Scream 8 or 9, but Scream 7, nah, I don't see him being a part of it. But I'd love it.
Yeah.
He's very cozy in that little producer role.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. And I do think he's got to have some creative influence on it somehow, one way or another, but nothing where he's actually like sitting down working his ass off on a script. My thing about Kevin Williamson is I love him. I love his writing. I think his early stuff from the 90s and thousands is killer. But I always think about, whenever I talk about a writer, I always like to talk about whatever their latest thing is. And technically he didn't write this, but Sick was a disaster in my opinion. I just did not like that movie at all. And I know it was a story from him. It was a story from him. Someone else wrote it. So
I thought you said you did like
it's
it.
not even fair. I liked the chase scenes, and that was clearly Kevin Williamson, and that was the only thing I liked about the entire movie. I think the chase scene, dude, one of the chase scenes in that movie is like top 10 Kevin Williamson chase scene. Killer. Loved it. Besides that, the rest of that movie I was nearly unwatchable to me. But
Wow.
That's really rough. I know, really mean. But I was so frustrated. They wanted me to root for the most unlikable character in movie history. But what my thing about Kevin Williamson, I just think that if he comes back and writes 7, I don't know. I'm curious how he would write with these new characters, with Radio Silence's characters, or if he would just adjust the story to go back to his own thing. That's my only concern, because I once again, just sticking to my guns here, I love Sidney Prescott, I love Gale Weathers, I love Dewey Riley, but I feel like their stories are kind of coming to a close now. It's just what it feels organically with what's going on in Scream right now. And I don't know what Kevin Williamson would do, honestly. I don't know what his approach would be to writing the 7th installment where it is right now. I would imagine Sam Carpenter, the Core 4, they'd all be involved. I would worry that they tried to shift the focus back to Sidney. It's like another Ghostface killer who's trying to kill Sidney. And we've seen it 4 times. You know what I mean? It's like, how many people want to kill this woman? Like, God, I feel so bad for Sidney. I think we just the personal motives need to die. That's the big thing that I'm like just starting to get really just not annoyed with, but it's like we're doing the same thing. It's a lot of repetition. There's so many more reasons to want to kill somebody that we can organically write into a new story, and that's what I'm really looking for in the next installment. That would be the only worry I would have if Kevin Williamson came back on board, is that he'd want to shift the focus back to like just kind of going back to what he usually does with these movies. But who knows? We'll never know until we see it. It's just one of those things. I love his writing. I love I love a lot of his movies. Some of them are some of my all-time favorite horror movies. So I definitely would be open to it for sure. But speaking of creatives, Lighting Ghost, by the way, thank you for the $5.
Yes,
Talking about Christopher Landon from Jonathan, once again, thank you for the $5, dude. Saying, if Christopher Landon is on board to direct, I think he can bring Stu back. Christopher Landon has a really good track record with twists and turns in his movie. Now, this is a really good question, because I have had this thought about Christopher Landon. He loves those original movies. A lot of his films even feel like Screams 2 and 3 specifically, having that campiness feel to them. Now, Knight, starting with you, do you think that Christopher Landon would be interested in bringing this character back just in the first place?
I would tend to think there would be at least some interest in it, if nothing for the legacy of the character and the challenge of it. I think most people that are creative, they would kind of find it kind of a very alluring situation. I think he would have some interest in it. Could it work? Could he do it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, like I said, good writing can make up for a lot of weird stuff in movies, and I really do think there's ways to tell this story, to have Stu return and to have it. Look, we just saw people that got stabbed 16, 17 times and they walked away.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm just saying, like, and that's not the.
You got to take Scream 3 into account, though, and 2 and 3 into account.
I'm just saying the current creative, though, right now, the current team.
Yeah. I'm just saying we've seen some really crazy things going on. It's a movie, and even Wes Craven himself said, it's a movie. you can stretch those plausibility moments and so forth. So do I think he'd want to do it? I think there would be curiosity. I think if I were to bet one way or the other, I said yes, he'd want to do it. Could it work? Could he make it work? I'd say yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'll make my answer short and sweet. I agree with you, Knight. I think it would be interesting. I'd like to see what he could do with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would be very, very interested on that. Like if that announcement came out, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Pull the trigger. Let's work your mojo, man, because I like
Right.
his work. So
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, a couple things. One, is he even going to be part of the creative?
Let's say
Right.
hypothetically, if he
Yeah.
is,
Okay,
do you think he'd be interested?
let's say he is. Okay,
Mhm.
like I
Yeah.
think, can he do it? Sure. Would he want to do it? Maybe. But him coming in as the new guy, does he really
Mhm.
want to tack on trying to bring back Stu Macher? Probably not. Like he might love the character. He might go, "Hey, I'd love to do the character," but everything falls on him if that goes terrible. And it's going to be his first Scream movie, his first adaptation into this space. He has other projects and things like that that he wants to work on, and he has ideas and stuff. Like if he is involved in bringing Stu back and that goes terrible, that could be the end of his career. So I think if he does come in and he is part of the creative, he's going to want to take the more safer approach of like, hey, let's build the story with these characters. Let's tell this story and let's go for it. I think if anything, if he is part of the creative team, there won't be, even if he's part of the film, period. If Christopher Landon is the new director, I don't think we get Stu back or anybody back. I don't think there's going to be some big new character. I don't think we get Angelina. I don't think we get anybody. I think we'll get new characters with that because he's not going to want to have to, if that goes bad, he's the one that's going to have to deal with that. And that could be the end of his career. So I don't see it. I don't. Not with him. If it was Radio Silence, probably. Absolutely. Because they've already proven themselves through 2 films. But a new director coming in, he's sitting down and he's like that could be a disaster. But go ahead, Jake.
Just going off of wants, like Christopher Landon, I could see him wanting to do this, but I do kind of agree with Fate where it kind of makes me a little more 50-50. That would be a risk. We had a big risk with Scream 5 though. Once again, going back to that, we killed a legacy character, and that was pretty risky, man. That was pretty like, wow. That
Right.
worked though. Like it worked. A lot of there are some people who still don't love it, but most people have gotten over it and enjoy Scream 5. I like it. It's not my absolute favorite Scream film, but it's not the worst in my opinion. I do really enjoy it. But that was a risk, So does Christopher Landon look at that and say, I need to take a risk with this movie? Could he approach it by like somehow having Stu being involved? There's also other ways to bring Stu back where it's not some logistical nightmare. We could have him on one of Randy's VHS tapes. I've suggested this before, and that would be fucking awesome in my opinion. That's something that everyone would love, I think. So there's more than one way to do it. And I think if Christopher Landon came back, you could spin it down that path where it's like, oh, we found one of Randy's VHS tapes in Mindy's attic. You know what I mean? Like that would be so fucking easy. And then bam, you have a whole sequence with Stu again. Him, Randy, you'd have Jamie Kennedy come back too. Have the whole crew from the original movie. I'd be so down for that on a VHS tape they find somewhere upstairs. Who knows? You never know. There's many ways to do it. Christopher Landon would find a good way to approach that, I think, if he was to come on. But it's not a definite. The only definite with Christopher Landon on a Scream film is it's definitely going to feel a little goofier and campier, I think, for sure. That's a 100% in my opinion. But Jonathan, again, thank you for the $5. We have a few more super chats to get through. I am going to be late to my stream, but this is going to be fun. Ty Lee is asking, here's how you do it and pay homage to Wes. Scream 7 takes the new... This is so interesting. I have so many thoughts. Scream 7 takes the new Nightmare approach with the new cast and legacy cast getting targeted one by one. Matthew Lillard is Ghostface again here, though. Oh, fuck. I have so many thoughts for that. Night, once again, I'll throw that your way again.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that would be very cool to do because you're doing a lot of things at once, and obviously you're paying homage to Wes and New Nightmare, but it also allows you to pretty much have everyone you want involved in it be involved. But the twist would be that Matthew is really Ghostface. That would be, look, and I love New Nightmare. I really, really do. As far as in the Nightmare movies, I just wonder, because I'm thinking about it right now, man, and we've talked about it before, but I'm just seeing it play out in my mind. I'm just wondering how it would hit, like the rhythm of it, you know, and obviously this would be kind of the end. I mean, unless we take a long hiatus and then kind of restart stuff down the road, or maybe a brand new story, a new character and a new ghost face, maybe being inspired by this real life event, so to speak, So I I would look, I'm not against it, and I do like the twist of Matthew actually being Ghostface. And that's the part that I like the most. Like, it's cool to pay homage to Wes, but the part that I like the most is that Matthew Lillard is a killer. That
Like,
would
not
be
Stu,
cool to see.
not
No,
Stu,
Matthew.
Matthew Lillard.
That's the part that is like super cool to me, man. Hey, and you'd also give Drew Barrymore and Parker Posey their wish to get them back involved. It's
Yep.
like, because Drew,
That's right.
Drew's like, yeah, Casey's injury, it might be parallel to a C-section or something like that. I'm
He's like,
Yes.
it's just a scratch.
Drew. It's like, I absolutely love Drew Barrymore, but come on.
You were
Okay,
good.
what if he dies in the same way too? Like, like another TV gets
Yeah, you
pushed.
could definitely.
That would be so fucking funny. You know what? I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, fuck it, man.
What would really
Fuck
be
it.
funny is if you want to go out with a banger, he goes into like a Best Buy or enters to like a store that sells retail and they got the walls of televisions, and like an
Oh my
earthquake
God.
hits, and all of a sudden like all the televisions just fall on top of
Pile
like
on him. It's just-
Oh my god!
That's Christopher Landon right there, baby. That's not. There you go. That's how the movie ends.
100 flat screen TVs
100.
just keep
Yeah,
falling
just
on
kill
it.
Pounding them.
Just-
Oh, man.
Jesus Christ.
Now, then I would believe he died.
But my answer is quick. Like, look, you could absolutely do that. You can't do that for a movie. You can do it for like if you did a series, which they want to do a Scream series, that would make an incredible series. If you were to do that for a movie, kind of like now you're kind of going into that, like, that's the end, that's all of it. Like, just like you saw with Nightmare on Elm Street, where I don't think they plan on doing that anytime, especially not Scream 7, maybe like Scream 10 or something like that at some point. But I think you could do that like next year with a series, and you could have the whole series kind of like play with it, and like every episode, like a character or two die, and then at the end it's Matthew Lillard as the killer, and maybe it's Sydney as his accomplice because they dated, right? Maybe like
Oh,
you have
wow.
Sydney and Matthew Lillard as the killer, and you have that
Whoa.
kind of flip everything on its head. Like, you
He's
could
like
do
the
something
leader
like
this
that.
time around.
It's like he manipulated it and whatever. I mean, you can do a lot of fun, goofy things with that. Can't do it for a movie, but you could absolutely do it for a series. But
Emily Mortimer could be his accomplice.
or that,
Oh,
Finally
yeah.
get her.
yeah,
reveal.
get her killer.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would write like two endings if someone was like, Jake, we're doing a new Nightmare Scream movie. What are you gonna do? Like, what's your outline? Off the top of my head, there's two things I would want to do. First, I would make either Matthew Lillard. I wouldn't make Matthew Lillard. I would make Skeet Ulrich the opening kill to set the tone. Like, this is going to be something different. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't going to be the same old. I would absolutely make one of the killers the opening kill of the movie, because it would just be like, oh fuck, okay, it's not going to be the same thing, you know. But the other thing is, like, I would want to do, like, basically what we've been already talking about, is do a different duo. Like, you could have Matthew Lillard in there, but just have the dynamic between whoever, or maybe there's three killers, maybe there's one, whatever. Just something different from the original movie with the same characters, essentially. You know, that's my approach. How I would want to do it. You could still make Matthew the killer, just maybe not in the sidekick position. You know, more of the lead. I'm the one who's killing. That would be really cool. There's a want for that. It might be a little okay, let's be honest. If that movie got announced, the first thing we'd be saying is, oh, Matthew's going to be the killer again, but he's going to be the leader. I feel like it's the first thing we'd all be theorizing about. But there's, you can make, like Wayne's talking about Jamie Kennedy. You can make him the killer. You can make Drew Barrymore the killer. You can make Sidney Prescott the killer in a movie, and it wouldn't be lore breaking. It wouldn't be like, there's a lot you could do here that feels taboo otherwise.
Right.
But I'm like, I kind of, once again, like once we start breaking from the main storyline, once we do our Scream versus Pinhead movie, just like Freddy versus Jason or something,
Yeah.
that's when we're starting to jump the shark a little bit. Once we start doing these
Right.
gimmicky movies, I feel like that's kind of like when the franchise starts to teeter off. But I'm going to keep saying it until I can't do YouTube anymore. This is such a malleable franchise. We could keep it going for many more movies if we just keep throwing some new motives, new characters at us every single time, new ghost faces. There's so much you can do with this concept, and I fucking love it. It's why it's one of my favorite franchises, and I just hope they don't fall down that path because I love this idea. I think it's a Scream fan's dream, I think, in a weird sort of way, but why fix something that's not broke? You know, there's a really cool concept we have right here, and I want to see more of that done, you know?
I have a quick gimmick idea that you could do that actually would make sense and could work for Scream 7. You could bring Skeet Ulrich back as Ghostface, as the killer, but it's Sam. But every time you see Ghostface in any sequence, it's Skeet as Billy, but at the end you have the big reveal it's actually Sam. There's a lot of people
personality.
It's in her head.
Yeah, because Sam.
Yeah.
What is the whole Scream 5 and 6? Sam keeps seeing Billy everywhere.
Right.
I actually have a video uploading later today talking about like, will Sam go dark side after what Melissa Barrera said. Melissa Barrera said that she would love to be the killer and have her, and that's kind of the path that they're going down. Whatever. You could have that. Have Skeet Ulrich come back as Billy, which he already is. He's already been a part of the last 2 films. You have all the sequences of him as Ghostface. You could even have Ghostface after every kill take off the mask, and it's Billy. And we're all like, how is Billy back? Like, what is going on here? But really, it's Sam. At the end, you know, she's looking in the mirror. It's Sam, and then you have Tara that's like, you know, Sam, what are you doing? And you look, and it's Billy, and then you get the sequence of like him changing back into Sam, and it's been Sam the whole time. It's not really Billy. Like you could do a gimmick, like that's a gimmicky idea that you could do that would make sense, that actually fits what they have already going on, that fits the story. She's completely lost herself and is now Billy Loomis, has been consumed by like, you know, Billy Loomis, so to speak. And she's running around doing all the killings as Ghostface. We see it as Billy the whole movie. Maybe even Sam is in some sequences and there's an accomplice or something that's involved. And so it looks like Sam is not the killer and we all think she's not the killer. And it's like Billy's really back. And then at the end you have it, and it's been Sam the whole time. You could do something like that, like kind of like a My Bloody Valentine, right? With Jensen Ackles.
Right.
Like, do something like that, right? You know, Jensen Ackles, Supernatural. Sorry.
There we go.
Gotta get it in there.
He always finds a way.
Dude.
Next super chat.
Ty, again, thank you for the $20, man. We appreciate it. One more, and then old Jake and the gang has to sign off. Jake and the gang. Wow, I sound really full.
Jake
of
and the
myself.
gang.
Shut
wow.
up. The Nightwatch Zone and the gang. It sounds a little better now.
All right, Fred.
Night and Craven and Fate are the collective, and I'm just some asshole. But anyways, Lightning Ghost is throwing $5 in there saying, congrats again, Craven, on 9K. Congratulations, Craven, on 9,000 subscribers. That stream was so much fun. Thank you for having me on. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
He's not here, but we appreciate the hell out of him.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, guys.
You're
Thank
good.
you so much, Lightning Ghost. I really appreciate that, man.
Hell
That's
yeah.
so
And
cool.
dude, thanks for having me on the stream. I'm so sorry I couldn't stay the whole time. I had the craziest just the weekend was insane.
No, that's okay, man.
Sweat nuts. But thanks for having me on though, man. It was a blast for the little time that I could be on there.
It was an awesome
Yeah,
time.
man.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Get excited, get hyped for 10K, dudes. Good shit.
That's
good
right.
shit. Lightning Ghost, thank you for the $5. We appreciate it. Anything else you guys got going on tonight that y'all want to talk about real quick?
I'll be doing Slasher Movie Club tonight at 8 p.m. So in a little bit more than an hour from now. Woohoo!
Nice.
Nice.
Craven, you got anything going on tonight?
I don't have anything planned as far as streams or anything tonight. Probably not. If I get some wild opportunity to do something later, like much later tonight, I could impromptu show up online. But if not, it'll probably be another day this week before I'm back.
Heck yeah, man.
All right.
Fate, you
Very cool.
got anything going on?
Another major video should be up on Fate Decided at 5 p.m. about the whole Sam and Melissa, things that Melissa said about her potentially being Ghostface. figure we dive into that. But yeah, outside of that, just got a lot going on with the Laker channel. Lakers are in the second round, baby. Wayne,
That's
I
right.
saw your comments. Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6. Let's
Lakers
go.
in 6. Let's get it, Wayne.
So I saw the Cavs get their ass kicked the other night. Are they still in it or no? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
They're done.
They're done. Okay, yeah, I haven't been keeping up with it. I figured that would happen after the game. I saw just an embarrassing loss the other day. I don't know. Like I said, I don't keep up with basketball, but I was like, damn, dude, what the hell? But anyways, I have a stream tonight talking a little bit about Scream 7, Saw X, all these fun horror movies coming up. Make sure to stop on by, pitch me your crazy Scream 7 theories, or maybe if you have theories for other horror movies that are coming out, because believe it or not, there are more than just Scream. So come on over, say hello, and let's talk some horror movies tonight. It'll be a good time. And then don't forget to stop by the Nightwatch Zone. What movie did you already say what movie you were?
No, I haven't
doing?
said it yet. We're talking about Inside from 2007.
I fucking love that
Right?
movie, dude.
See, that reaction you gave is exactly why I'm excited to do it, man, because that movie is bonkers.
Nobody talks about that movie. My buddy Sean showed it to me, and I'm like, what is this? Like, this is so good. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Bonkers. Yeah. Oh, watch that movie. Great time, dude. Oh, shit.
And I also do have a pretty huge channel announcement too that is literally like coming together as we've been speaking on this stream, and I cannot believe that it's something that is probably 99.9% going to happen. I'm going to announce it tonight because I'm going to will it into existence. And so definitely if you guys get a chance to pop by, I think you guys will be happy to hear it. I really do.
We'll pop on by the Nightwatch
Rock
Zone
on.
tonight. We got some big news. Oh, that's
All
exciting.
right,
That's
man.
exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with all of you gentlemen, and thank you all for listening to our incoherent
Yes.
ramblings.
Wonderful.
We'll be back next Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for all the support tonight. And as always, the Lethal Collective collective has spoken. I fucked it up. The collective has spoken. Good night. Good night.